Digested is an intense survival horror game that immerses players in a harrowing scenario, evading a relentless giant snake determined to consume them. Set in a vast and unpredictable environment, the primary objective is to locate navigation points that reveal the location of an extraction pod, the only means of escape. Players must utilize various tools and abilities to formulate an effective escape strategy, all while navigating through unfamiliar terrain and avoiding the ever-present threat of the monstrous serpent. Project the Perceiver is an ambitious open-world action game inspired by Chinese mythology and philosophy. Built with Unreal Engine 5, the game transports players to a fantasy version of ancient China, where they take on the role of a masked hero known as the Perceiver. The protagonist has the power to absorb the convictions and fighting styles of defeated foes, adopting their masks and using their unique combat abilities. With a dynamic world and a moral conflict at its core, the game allows players to explore vast regions, climb buildings freely, engage in fast-paced, skill-based battles, and shape the world through their choices.
还是戏，本就因人而在。
为何执意要起兵戈之祸？
Lies of P Overture is an upcoming expansion for the acclaimed action RPG, Lies of P. Serving as a dramatic prequel, this DLC transports players to the city of Krat during its final days of haunting late 19th century Belle Epoque beauty, just before the catastrophic puppet frenzy. Players will assume the role of Geppetto's puppet, embarking on a journey through Krat and its surroundings to uncover hidden backstories and face formidable new bosses. The expansion introduces fresh environments and weapon types, including a bow, offering a new layer of strategic combat. Choices made during the gameplay will have repercussions, revealing hidden truths and leaving lasting consequences in the world of Lies of P.
Do you remember the time we all gathered to play this piece together? I never got to say farewell.
Ninja Gaiden foremarks the return of the definitive ninja action-adventure franchise. Co-developed by Team Ninja and Platinum Games, this installment introduces players to Yakumo, a young ninja prodigy whose fate is intertwined with the legendary Ryu Hayabusa. Set in a near-future Tokyo plunged into chaos by the resurrection of the Dark Dragon, the game offers a high-octane blend of stylish, dynamic combat that rewards precision and strategy. Players can engage in visually stunning battles using techniques like the Azuna Drop and Flying Swallow, as well as new abilities such as Blood Raven Form, which allows Yakumo to manipulate blood to create powerful weapons.
No escape.
Post-Trauma is a survival horror game that draws inspiration from classic titles of the genre, particularly those from the PlayStation 2 era. Players assume the role of Roman, a train conductor who awakens in a nightmarish and surreal environment. The game emphasizes exploration, puzzle solving, and resource management, challenging players to navigate through unsettling landscapes filled with horrific creatures and psychological terror. With a blend of fixed camera angles and modern visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5, Post-Trauma aims to deliver a nostalgic yet fresh horror experience.
Is this hell?
Hell would have meaning. No, this is just us and our queen.
You think you can escape what you've done?
Marvel 1943. Rise of Hydra is an action-adventure game developed by Skydance New Media. Set during World War II, the game features an ensemble cast including Steve Rogers, Captain America, and Azuri, the Black Panther of the 1940s, who must form an uneasy alliance to confront the rising threat of Hydra. Players will also control Gabriel Jones of the Howling Commandos and Nanali, a Wakandan spy embedded in occupied Paris. The narrative-driven experience promises a blend of stealth, combat, and exploration, immersing players in a richly detailed historical setting intertwined with Marvel lore.
Please, just stick to the rooftops. Be careful, stand beside me.
When am I not?
It's better if I tackle this one alone.
You may encounter some obstacles.
That won't be a problem.
Baby Steps is a unique physics-based adventure game that offers players an unconventional experience by simulating the act of walking. Players control Nate, an unemployed individual who finds himself transported to a mysterious, mist-shrouded world. In this serene environment, Nate must learn to walk by manually controlling each of his legs, leading to a challenging yet humorous journey. The game emphasizes exploration, allowing players to hike through tranquil mountains, interact with local fauna, and immerse themselves in the natural beauty of the landscape. Developed by the creators of Ape Out and Getting Over It, Baby Steps combines original physics-based gameplay with a contemplative narrative, encouraging players to find meaning in Nate's seemingly aimless existence. Gears of War E-Day is an upcoming third-person shooter co-developed by the Coalition and People Can Fly, serving as a prequel set 14 years before the original Gears of War. The narrative centers on a young Marcus Fenix and Dominic Santiago during Emergence Day, the catastrophic event when the Locust Horde first emerged to devastate the planet Serra. Players will experience the intense initial confrontation between humanity and the Locust, exploring themes of survival and brotherhood. The game aims to return to the franchise's horror roots, featuring redesigned Locust enemies to enhance their intimidation factor. Painkiller is a reimagining of the classic first-person shooter franchise, developed by Anshar Studios and published by 3D Realms in collaboration with Saber Interactive. In this iteration, players are condemned souls in purgatory, offered a chance at redemption by the voice of the creator. The mission involves battling through hordes of demons and titanic terrors to prevent the fallen angel Azazel from unleashing his armies upon Earth. The game supports cooperative play for up to 3 players and offers full offline support. Players can choose from 4 distinct champions, each with unique perks, and engage in fast-paced combat across richly detailed Gothic environments. Onimusha Way of the Sword is the latest installment in Capcom's renowned action-adventure series, Onimusha. Set in the historic Japanese capital of Edo-era Kyoto, the game immerses players in a dark fantasy world plagued by malevolent forces known as the Genma. Players assume the role of a samurai wielding the mystical Oni Gauntlet, granting them the power to combat these monstrous creatures. The game emphasizes intense swordplay action, challenging players to master various combat techniques and strategies. As they traverse blood-stained battlefields and unravel the mysteries shrouding Kyoto, players will encounter a rich narrative interwoven with Japanese folklore and history.
Let's see your best then, eh? Swordplay is a game of strength. Winning is what matters.
FEROCIOUS is an upcoming first-person shooter that combines elements of survival and exploration. Players find themselves stranded on a mysterious, prehistoric island teeming with dangerous wildlife, including dinosaurs and hostile mercenaries determined to keep the island's secrets. The game emphasizes a sense of wonder and danger as players navigate lush jungles, treacherous cliffs, and hidden underwater caves. Armed with a variety of weapons and tools, players must confront the island's myriad threats while uncovering the truth behind its existence. Developed by Omyog and published by TinyBuild, FEROCIOUS aims to deliver an intense and immersive survival experience. Tides of Annihilation is an upcoming fantasy action-adventure game developed by Eclipse Games. Set in a modern London shattered by an otherworldly invasion, players assume the role of Gwendolyn, the city's last survivor. Endowed with a mysterious power that enables her to command the legendary Knights of the Round Table, Gwendolyn embarks on a quest to save her family and restore the fabric of reality. The game draws inspiration from Arthurian legend, blending medieval fantasy elements with a contemporary setting. Players will engage in fast-paced combat against transformed knights and monstrous beings, utilizing a variety of weapons and summoning spectral allies.
To pursue one's wishes is to court one's doom.
Terminator: Survivors is an open-world survival game developed by Nacon Studio Milan, set in the aftermath of Judgment Day within the iconic Terminator universe. Players can choose to play solo or in co-op mode, taking on the roles of survivors striving to re-establish society 4 years after humanity's near annihilation. The game emphasizes scavenging for resources, building and managing a base of operations, and confronting threats from Skynet's machines, including the relentless Terminators, as well as other human factions. The narrative unfolds in a world where the truth about the cataclysmic events remains obscured, and players must navigate a landscape filled with danger and uncertainty. Star Wars Eclipse is an upcoming action-adventure game developed by Quantic Dream, set during the High Republic era of the Star Wars universe, approximately 200 years before the events of the original trilogy. The game promises a deeply branching narrative with multiple playable characters, allowing players to experience the galaxy's political tensions and moral dilemmas from various perspectives. While specific gameplay details remain scarce, the developers aim to blend their signature narrative-driven storytelling with action elements, immersing players in a richly detailed and dynamic Star Wars universe. The War of the Worlds Siberia is an action-adventure game set in an alternate 1896 within the Russian Empire, reimagining H.G. Wells' classic narrative in a unique setting. Players follow the journey of a young student fleeing both the law and Martian invaders whose incursion threatens human civilization. The game emphasizes survival, requiring players to evade towering tripod machines and other extraterrestrial threats. Exploration is key, as players navigate through panic-stricken cities and the harsh Siberian wilderness, solving puzzles and engaging in combat using period-appropriate weapons like sabers and muzzle-loading guns.
Я убил его.
Вниз!
Jurassic Park Survival is an upcoming single-player action-adventure game developed by Saber Interactive. Set immediately after the events of the original 1993 Jurassic Park film, players assume the role of Dr. Maya Joshi, an InGen scientist who was unable to evacuate Isla Nublar. The game emphasizes survival as players navigate the island, encountering a variety of dinosaurs with distinct and adaptive behaviors. Exploration of iconic locations, such as the towering park gates and the visitor center, is a key feature, immersing players in the Jurassic Park universe.
Is anyone there?
Mafia. The Old Country is the fourth main entry in the Mafia series, developed by Hangar 13 and published by 2K Games. Serving as a prequel to the original game, it is set in the 1900s Sicily, focusing on the origins of organized crime. Players take on the role of Enzo Favara, who rises from a childhood of indentured labor in Sicily's sulfur mines to join the Teresi crime family. The game offers a linear, narrative-driven experience, emphasizing cinematic storytelling and authentic realism. Players will engage in life-or-death combat using period-authentic weapons and can traverse the environment on foot, horseback, or early 20th century automobiles.
To become a man of honor, repeat these words. I swear my loyalty to this family. I flash.
KIBORG is an intense roguelite beat-em-up developed by Sobaka Studio. Players assume the role of Morgan Lee, a character wrongfully accused of war crimes and sentenced to a 1,300-year term on the galaxy's most notorious prison planet. In this dystopian future, death is not an escape, as inmates are continually revived to serve their sentences. The only path to freedom is through The Last Ticket, a brutal reality show where contestants must battle through hordes of fellow inmates to reach a shuttle stationed on the prison's rooftop. The game combines elements of classic beat-em-ups, shooters, and roguelikes, offering fast-paced, brutal combat.
Pushing the limits of human potential. He'll need every weapon at his disposal to survive the onslaught. From plasma cannons to bioengineered blades. Facing relentless enemies, he'll fight his way through ever-changing deadly arenas. Witness the gunner.
Virtua Fighter 6 marks the long-awaited return of Sega's pioneering 3D fighting game series, with the last numbered entry released nearly 2 decades ago. Developed by Sega's Ryuga Gotoku studio, this installment aims to modernize the franchise while retaining its core mechanics. The game is expected to feature a roster of returning characters, including series veterans like Akira and Sarah. Early gameplay footage showcased at CES 2025 highlights the game's detailed 3D physics and dynamic combat system, emphasizing strategic positioning and combos. The Blood of Dawnwalker is an upcoming single-player, open-world dark fantasy action RPG developed by Rebel Wolves, a studio founded by former Witcher 3 director Konrad Tomaskiewicz. Set in an alternate 14th century Europe, the game unfolds in the fictional kingdom of Vale Sangora, nestled within the Carpathian Mountains. Players assume the role of Cohen, a young man transformed into a Dawnwalker, a being caught between the realms of humans and vampires. Cohen is granted 30 days and nights to save his family from the clutches of a powerful vampire cabal, led by the ancient and formidable Brentsis. The game introduces a narrative sandbox experience, where players' choices and actions significantly impact the storyline and world.
I don't know. How? I am life. I am death. I am everything in between. I have been watching your little valley. Pestilence, famine, killing, blood spilt carelessly like water.